Chapter 143. Nicholas was dumbstruck for some time. What do you mean? Farron coughed. This is Wilbur's room, and no one is allowed to come in. Tell Wendy and the others to go to another room. As for Milton, just say that he resisted arrest. He absconded with a gun and is being hunted down right now. Upon hearing this, Nicholas quickly nodded along. They were going to frame Milton with the charge of absconding first. As for what happened next, they could make any arrangements they wanted. Falling off a cliff, disappearing, all that could be decided later. At that moment, the special agents had already rushed up to their door. Milton's subordinates hurriedly lay down on the ground one by one with their hands over their heads. They did not dare to move. Their crimes would not warrant a death sentence. They would not be so stupid as Milton to fight the officials with their lives. Seeing that the special agents had arrested all of them, Nicholas called his superiors to report on the situation and gave a brief summary. Nicholas's superior officially notified the relevant departments in Harvis County, and they immediately gave full cooperation to Nicholas. At the same time, they dispatched a group to start stationing around the county. After Nicholas made the phone call, he asked the special agents to seal off the entire hotel and use it as a base of operations. What followed would be a long process. Investigations, interrogations, prosecutions, and judgments could take more than half a year. Since it was an important case, Nicholas would make a great contribution once the case was over. Promotion and salary increase was a certainty. Just then, Nicholas received a call from the local department saying that Jerry had taken his own life in fear of being prosecuted. Nicholas was taken aback and quickly passed on the news to Wilbur and others. Upon hearing the news, Farron waved his hand and said, "It doesn't matter. Anyway, there are so many witnesses and none of them can escape. Just take your time." "Got it, boss," Nicholas said happily. His father, who was comrades in arms with Farron's father, was naturally an important figure too. The arrangement for him to come to Seachertown was the result of discussions between his father and Orrin. Just like Farron, he was just waiting for a time when he could climb up his career ladder. However, if there was such a credit in hand, then the speed of his promotion would not be far behind Farron's. It might even end up being faster than Farron. Wilbur suddenly said to Farron, "You should also handle the case with Nicholas. Ethan and I have other things to do." "Huh?" Farron frowned and said, "But our positions are vastly different." Upon hearing this, Nicholas said quickly, "Farron, this was a clue you provided. We sincerely invite you to participate in solving the case together. You're a great contributor." Farron glanced at Wilbur, who smiled and nodded knowingly. "You're on the right track, then I guess I'll take on the extra work." Farron patted Nicholas on the shoulder. The two looked at each other and smiled. Wilbur said, "I need you two to escort Milton's men. I have work to do." Hearing Wilbur's order, Farron and Nicholas nodded solemnly. Wilbur picked up Milton, who was still unconscious. He then led Ethan and Wendy out of the room. Farron and Nicholas personally escorted Wilbur and others out of the hotel, and Wilbur drove away in Nicholas' car. Seeing Wilbur leave, Farron became serious and said slowly, "Let's start handling the case. Remove Milton out of it too." "All right." The two turned around, walked into the hotel, and started on their next task. Under Wendy's navigation, Wilbur drove to her shop. It was already late at night. Wendy got out of the car, looked at Ethan and said, "I'm really happy for you." "Thank you," Ethan said with tears in his eyes. Wendy smiled slightly. Wilbur then asked, "Do you sell any wine candles and incense?" "We do," Wendy replied.